Alright, good day, hi, and welcome. I'm going to do a quick little video. Before I do, I must grab something very special here. Hopefully it stayed in tune. I'm working on something. I think it's going to be very, very cool, so. My 150 to 200-year-old lionhead violin. Okay, so this video I wanted to make it a little while ago because, you know, there's a lot of things going on in the world and there's a lot of things to talk about. And some stuff has absolutely no importance to life whatsoever, and that's what this video is about. And, but it's just stuff that it's like, I'd rather be talking about this stuff right now because I think, here you get to see my very characterful lionhead violin. This thing is so awesome. Anyway, it's about faking it till you make it. There's this YouTuber, I can't remember the name of him, who was talked about by another YouTuber who's a recording sound engineer guy. Schecter Studios, I think is what it is. So I don't know if he's sponsored by Schecter Guitars or whatever it is. But anyway, he was talking about some guy who basically, you know, does like a karaoke type of act with originals, but on YouTube. And he set up a tour, I think in the UK or something like that. And he does like the promo shots of like people in crowds, okay? But then you just see him on stage by himself. There's no band behind him or nothing like that. It's like a, you know, just like close in kind of shots, whatever. And he's like, you know, built a whole kind of fake repertoire of what he actually does and, you know, where he's played and stuff like that. Nobody's ever heard of him. And this is not a new idea. There was another band. They were called White Dove or something like that back in the 80s, where the guy, the lead singer, I guess it was, his dad was quite wealthy, and they tried to buy their way to fame. And like they didn't even, I don't even think they played their own instruments. They didn't play nothing, but they had all this propaganda saying that, oh, look at these guys, they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. And White Angel or something along that lines, whatever they were called, doesn't matter. But the point is that it didn't work. You know, people are like, okay, well, you got all this concert shots and everything like that, but yet, you know, like it's like not their concert shots, right? Like it's somebody else, and you never see these guys on like in a full band outfit on stage and stuff like that. And you gotta wonder why people try that. You know, like I gotta understand if they're doing it purely from the point of view of a scam. That would make sense. But when they're actually trying to think they're gonna fake their way to the top, I'm like, that's not how it works being a musician. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard being a musician. Well, the musician part is the easy part. Getting paid to do it is the hard part. Getting rich out of it is almost impossible. But it's not impossible. But without like the big studios, commercial studios, which won't probably admire anything you do. They're like, okay, here's a song we want you to play. We don't care what you wrote. You fit the image to play this song, and that's what they're gonna throw at you. Which is a lot easier if you don't care about your own music and stuff like that. It's like, okay, well, here's somebody else wrote, Desmond Child, Bob Rock type stuff. I don't know who's the hot shots now, but I mean, Desmond Child pretty much wrote every metal band song, ballad in the 90s, and Bob Rock pretty much produced every metal band. So that's why everybody started sounding alike and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, Bob Rock was a really good producer, produced some pretty excellent stuff, but everything started to sound the same, you know what I mean? Because it becomes a signature. I mean, sound engineers are musicians in a different way, you know what I mean? So, you know, they tend to find, okay, a sound that works and how to bring out this sound. So everybody's going to have their, you know, their style, right? But it's just, I found it a funny video because I wonder how many times it actually works, let alone fails. I'd imagine it'd fail more often than work. But the thing is that I think people that try to fake their way to the top, trying to put on an image, you see this with the boy bands and all that, and, you know, some other popular, you know, really popular, pop stars, where the image they put in front of the public is not them. Like it's almost like an alter ego. And after a while, it starts to show through, and you see all these bizarre headlines about them and stuff like that. If you follow that kind of stuff, I don't really follow the pop culture people at all. It's like there's nothing of interest there. I mean, unless they're making a brilliant song, I really don't care, right? Because me, it's about the music. That said, for example, I bought this violin, which has probably changed many hands over many, 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 many years. If this thing could tell you a story, what would it tell you? You know what I mean? This guy sucks. But man, imagine I was, it's like, if this thing has a conscience, it's probably saying, like every new violinist that picks it up going, here we go again. Oh, it's going to be another 5 years before I hear something decent. So we torture these poor instruments over a millennia. And 100, 150 years, 200 years later, this thing is still producing sound and still inspiring people to play it, and people learning on it, whatever. And its job isn't done yet. Like, I mean, it's got to teach more people how to play. It's got to weather that storm. It's got to perform in front of more people. But you have to earn your way there. And this thing won't forgive you until you earn your way there, right? So it's the music is from within. The instrument is a tool. The quality of the instrument is the icing on the cake, as I always say. So always play everything you play the best you absolutely can play. I should take my own advice sometimes too, I know that. But the point is that there is no free lunch and there's no easy way to do something spectacular. And it's hard. Being a musician is hard. It is hard to sound good. It's easy to sound okay, but to sound good or sound exceptional is really, really hard work. And there is no promo, there is no voiceover dub, there is no auto-tune that can correct that. There is no, like, you can't fake the violin. You cannot fake it. Either you can play this thing or, you can't fake it. Like there is no shortcut. There's hard work and that's it. But the reward of the hard work is what these people that just want fame and gratification, they're not really musicians, they're more egoists. And I think what happens with them is that they set themselves up for disaster, number one, and they learn a hard lesson that you can't just cheat your way to top. Maybe the odd person will do it, but you're going to get found out at some point. Makes me think of a band called Milli Vanilli, way back when, in the 90s, right? And it got to the point where people found out that they lip sync their songs live, right? And many pop stars do. Madonna does it. Britney Spears did it. Katy Perry does it. Katy Perry's not too bad, but she still uses the auto-tune and stuff like that live, from what I heard. So some can sing, some can't, right? And they can't pull it off. Then you watch some of these metal bands. Like there's one metal band, this lady, Anna Murphy. She's in Cellar Darling now. She used to be in Evoluti. Listen to their live. Like, yeah, she sings flat once in a while, but there's no auto-tune on that. And that's what makes it impressive. It's like, and the new singer for Evoluti, well, same thing. She, sparkling voice live. Nightwish, that woman sings like that live. Like, these are really, like, this woman spent a lot of times being classically trained as an opera singer to be integrated into a metal band. Very, very cool. Now, the new singer, well, she's just a spectacular. I can't think of her name, but whatever. And then you got, like your rock band guys. Let's say I'll use Pearl Jam as an example. I was never a big fan of Pearl Jam until I seen them live. I was just like it was one of the clearest. Every note was accounted for. You could hear it. It's like it was loud and driving and everything like that, but everything was so clear. Like, I mean, there's no auto tune on that. It's just brutally honest music, and it was really good. Whether you like the music or not is not the issue, but it was just performed so well. And I'm a huge fan of live music because it is challenging. It's a one take wonder every time. How do you nail it perfectly every time? And sometimes the screw ups actually become better than the actual song originally written. You see this where, like you could tell that right at that note the band fell apart a bit, but then they covered it, and it just turned into something really cool. And that's professionalism. That's what you should be striving for, not trying to fake your way to the top, because you'll never get there honestly. And even if you do get to the top for a little while, when you get found out, like Milli Vanilli, it destroys their one of them. I can't remember which one it was, but he actually went and started taking singing lessons. Now the guy, like, he can sing. He doesn't sing with auto-tune. he learned a hard lesson, and it wrecked his self-esteem. And he said it hurt him. Like, he was like, everybody was, I was a laughing stock. He says, I never wanted, and he goes, and he knew he could do it. But then he found out the hard way that, what, I could do this, but I got to work at it. So then now the guy sings like, oh, you know what I mean? And the reason why he can do that is because he put the work in, So he's got 2 jobs now. He's got to fix his music career and his reputation. So what I say is put in the hard work. And yeah, you know what I mean? So I'll just leave it at that. It's just, you guys tell me what you think. All right, there we go. Have a great day. Eh?